Hello everybody, this is another lessons learned video. I did a bag, my first bag, using Yolanda's YouTube video, and I adapted it. The bag is a pretty big bag that looks like 20 inches from the strap to the bottom. It's made with 3 granny squares and 1 granny square on the bottom. And then there's 2 granny squares on the side, and we sew them together, and here's a side view. As you guys already know, I'm not real fond of granny squares, and I was thinking that this was a bag. And if this was going to be a bag, the bigger my holes were, the more likely I would have things falling out, and I didn't think that would be wise. So right off the top, I adapted her video, and I didn't do the 3 spaces in between and the 2 in the middle, because that would be spaces in the middle of my bag, and if I was going to hold things, that would be more opportunity for things to fall out. So I got rid of the spaces, the chain one. I only did the chain 1 in the corner. But granny squares are completely up to you, and you adapt them how you want. Any granny squares would have worked. I went around 8 rounds before I decided I had enough of the granny, and then I went 1 single crochet, and then 2 rows of double crochet, and then 2 rows of treble. So it was 8 rounds of the granny, single, 2 double crochets, and 2 rounds of the treble, and then I got ready to sew them together. She in the video struggled with whether or not to sew them together, or whether it was better to crochet them together, and in her bag she decided that she wanted to sew them together. For me, I find it much stronger to crochet them together, because you kind of get both sides in, and I like this peak and valley decorative aspect that you had. So as I sewed them together, I used this single crochet, and I went around, and then I came up 10 stitches with a single crochet to where she used a button, and she had a flap that she sewed around, and I got here and I went around with my single crochet to strengthen. I got up to the top, and then I chained across. I think I did 25, and then I went and I into the corner. So at that corner, I decided to do a chain stitch of 25. Got over here, and then I went down the other side. I went down the other side with a single crochet, and instead of going down and catching my 10 stitches, I went back around and came back up to strengthen my my strap. And so once I got here, I got to the corner, I went into the chain stitch that I had made originally and did a treble crochet. I had trebles, 2 rows of treble in my granny square, so I thought it would work out just fine. So I trebled all the way across, and once I got to this side, I started to secure it down by doing my peak and valley and adding it wherever I could. And then I went around the side. As you see, I came around the corner here, and I did a single crochet, my finishing touch, going back and forth. I felt like strengthened it. And then I went back in here and I did the same thing, and I came back around and I did a single crochet on the other side to be consistent with my outside. And then I decided that I would slip stitch in the middle for extra strength. I don't know how important that's going to be, but so is life. I use Carry-On yarn. I use less than about 1 pound, and I picked this yarn, and it said to use a 5.0 millimeter hook, and I did. I have my preference for my Addy Swing. This yarn, I like it even though it says baby. It has less acrylic, and when we're looking at a bag and we're looking at washable, it's important that the yarn is not very soft, because the softer it is, the stretchier it is, and we don't really want it to be too stretchy. I will line this bag, but I wanted to share that with you. Oh wait, I forgot to tell you, so when I came down here with the V, I had to come back in and add and then crochet my peak and valley here. So I tried to keep it one seam stitch and not have to cut the yarn too often, because I think that weakens the project. It's a pretty deep bag. I think it's pretty. I'm going to line it with something. I really appreciate the videos, so my difference is not, hey, I'm bashing somebody else's creativity, because I probably couldn't have thought of this on my own, but I adapted to what's perfect for me, and you adapt it for you. Happy crocheting, everybody, and every time I learn something and I get some lessons learned, I hope to share them with you guys. Happy crocheting.